Okay, Christine, last but not least, this is your walkthrough through our Ebsco databases, your last video. But of course, please follow up with me with any questions you might have if you need more research. But I'm hoping these three get you off to a good start. So we're going to access these via the library webpage here at Blue Mountain Community College, which we hopped into today just briefly. As a quick refresher, how you get to the library homepage is you'll first start by going to bluecc.edu, then you'll click on library, and then ta-da, here you are. So what we're going to do is actually scroll down. This search screen right here, this is for the library catalog that gets you to all of our books. But where I want to take us to is to our library databases page. So we're going to click here, just on the screen. And so we saw this briefly today. We saw newspapers, we looked at streaming media. Still probably worth looking at. Again, trying McCorvey, trying maybe Jane Roe in quotes as your search might prove to find some interesting things. But what I want to take us to is to what are called our Ebsco databases. Ebsco is the name of the company right here. The databases have individual names. These other databases, the Gale databases, that's what you'll see in OSLIS. You know, I did a quick review of this topic in Gale, and I didn't find the results adequate, not for this level of work that you're trying to do. So, in my opinion, I wouldn't even bother. I'd go straight to Academic Search Premier. So it's a little clunky. I do need to clean this up a bit, as you can see. But as we scroll down, let me go ahead and click. Well, I was going to click continue, but let's go ahead and scroll down and just go ahead and pick some. The really, really unfortunate thing is that these are not in alphabetical order. Actually, I think I'm going to call the company and say they should fix that. So couple things is that there is a legal collection, which might be very useful. Looking at law. There's let's go ahead and click on newspapers too. And finally, last but not least, we are going to look at Academic Search Complete. As you can see in the description here, it is a huge database. It has more than 8,500 full-text journals. It has, you know, tons of publications going all the way back to 1887. So, very rich resource. I'm going to hit continue. And what I'm going to do is, this is where we can start working with our search terms. I tend to like to start broadly. So, just typing in McCorvey, again, that name has seemed not too common, so I've been kind of okay with that search. One thing we can do right away, right from the start, is we can do or. And I'm going to end quotes, very important end quotes, Jane Roe, is what I'm going to do. And this will search for both anything about Norma McCorvey or Jane Roe all at one time. I don't have to do two searches. I can do it once, and that will get me to the information on this individual. As a reminder, I put Jane Roe in quotes. Actually, that works in Google as well. So if you're doing searching Googles, you can do that. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want those two names together. I don't want an article about, I don't know, Jane and I don't know, Jane Smith and I don't know, new restaurant she's opening, and then a review by I don't know, David Rowe, a restaurant reviewer. I want Jane Roe. That's what I want. If we want, we can limit by publication date right away. We can limit by other resources, but I think at this point, just clicking on search is a good start and seeing what we get, and then we can narrow from there if we need to. Okay, so we got 318 results. It might seem a lot, it may seem like not too many. It's kind of up to you. Just a couple quick things that I like to do is, right now it's sorted by relevance. Just to point out, you can't sort by date. Page options. The results are 10 per page. I like 50 results per page. I hate clicking next. That's just me. That's just personal. You don't have to do that. And then scrolling down a little bit, I want to show you some of the differences of what we'll find here. This really goes back to 1992, which kind of surprises me a little bit. We might want to change our search and see if something else comes up. But what we can do is limit right away. If we wanted to limit to just academic journals, so scholarly journals, we could certainly do that. If we wanted to, let me click on show more. If we wanted to look at government documents, we could do that. We could click on several. Magazines are going to be a little bit more like Time Magazine, U.S. News and World Report. They're fine, but it's just being really aware of the type of publication that it is. It's not necessarily an academic review. And from the point of view of history, though, for historical research, where often in many cases, an instructor would steer you away from magazines. For historical research, and you'll want to ask Mr. Kapusta about this, magazines can be useful if you're looking at what are people thinking about this particular issue at the time or later in time. So if you're using magazines in a historical thinking context, then it can be a useful resource. If you're looking for it as like a, a scholarly considered source, not necessarily what you want to do. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel. I don't see any reason to limit at this point. You can look and see if there's anything subject-wise that narrows things down, and actually there's quite a bit. I can actually click on show more. It looks like if we wanted to find just the articles that specifically address Norma McCorvey, well, actually we'd be down to just 17. I'm guessing she probably wrote this book, I Am Roe. Those are probably going to be book reviews that will come up, but that might be interesting. So again, totally up to you. I'm going to actually go ahead and click on that and see. There we go. And this is looking at several different things. Actually, I should have gone back. We'll go back and look at the other search. So what I want to walk you through is how to kind of interpret some of these records. So what I'm saying is, of course, this is the name of the journal. The article. It came from a periodical. In this case, it came from Newsweek. So, it's a magazine. So you might want to think about that. In fact, as I see, all these results are from magazines. So we might want to think about this search. And they all come from academic search complete at this point, which is going to be usually more journals as opposed to newspapers or other types of things. None of them are saying, for example, from the legal collection. So in fact, let me go back. Let's clear out this search. And I would just do that by clicking X here. And here's where I can show you, this is from the legal collection. And this right here, this is the title of the article, but I can see right here, this is actually the title of the journal that it came from. So it's the Texas Review of Law and Politics. This is more likely a scholarly type of resource or a government resource. So it's something to keep in mind when we think about credibility and such. I'm just going to go ahead and click on this. No matter which article you choose, the format's going to be similar. So I just want to walk you through what that format would look like. One thing I usually suggest is always suggest reading the abstract, especially in longer articles. This will save you time in the long run because you can decide right away, well, yes, I want this or I don't want this. If you decide that, okay, I do want this, I do want to point out that it's a 41-page article. You might find that you just need to read part of it for your particular topic. If you wanted the entire thing, you would just click here on PDF. PDF is going to take you to exactly what the article looked like in the journal itself. And so if you do want this, there's a couple things you can do. One is you can, of course, read it online. Absolutely. If you wanted to print it out, you can do that. If you want to download it, you can do that here. And the other thing that I mentioned earlier is if you want help citing this, it's this little golden piece of paper here, basically. For this class, you're using MLA. You might find, I'm just going to say, you might find in other history courses, if you do go on in history at the college level, you are very likely going to be using APA or Chicago. Those are the standards that are, Chicago primarily is often used in history, and if not, Chicago APA normally. But in this case, MLA is what your instructor wants, so you'll click there. And this actually looks like it was pretty well done. This looks like one that you can pretty much just copy and paste and put into your works cited, and you're good to go. So that's really how to use Ebsco in a nutshell. I'm kind of surprised though. I want to go back and I'm going to choose these databases again. I'm just so surprised that our resources came from as late as, what was it, the 90s? So I'm going to click OK there. I'm going to limit to full text. I just want to test this out because that surprises me. If somehow choosing multiple databases confuses the system. No, 1992. That really, again, surprises me. I'm going to unclick Academic Search Complete and try newspaper just to make sure we're in the right spot. And I'm going to click search again. This I would think would take us back further. Nope, 1995. Okay, well, for whatever reason, here's an interview with her there. Oh, though this is by a kind of known biased speaker, so be careful about that one. You know, but that's something to, again, think about. So, okay, that's Ebsco in a nutshell. I'm hoping between all the resources I've shown you, you feel like you have more to prepare you for this topic. It's going to be a tough topic because to look at in terms of history. I think that one article I think we found might be really interesting. I mean, the way you might want to approach it, and of course talk to Mr. Kabushta about this, is for a history assignment, you're not necessarily writing a position paper. What you're really writing, in this case, might be more of a paper of this particular, Supreme Court issue, the history of the legislation, the impact of the legislation, and you might want to tell the story of how, as happens a lot in history, how did this individual become either the face of this movement, how did this person represent this movement, and what did that mean? And you can talk a little bit about her, but you might, again, spend some time talking to Mr. Kabushta about this particular topic. I can't recommend that highly enough, just because it's such an easy one to get into writing about as a position paper. So, and I want to make sure you keep it to the assignment and you're successful in keeping it in terms of that historical conversation. So anyway, this was a longer video, but I hope it was helpful. Again, anytime you need me, just give me an email and I'm here to help you out.